Hello there, lovelies. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome you all here to Girls Run These Worlds for the finale of Afterlife, Hotel Nexus, and Afterlife Wandering Souls actual play here on this fantastic channel. You are joining us for the eighth and final session of what has been an absolutely emotional, tear-jerking, extremely gay, and then extremely queer, and then extremely wholesome, and then extremely tragic story that I have been blessed to be able to tell with the fantastic cast who will introduce themselves real quickly. And again, before we get into all of that, I just want to note that while this is the finale, and the same sort of content warning still apply as before, which include things like death, mortality, loneliness, abusive relationships, really fucked up dynamics in regards to isolation and such. There's also the possibility of a permanent end for all of our players. If you're someone who's been dealing with grief or has had a lot of issues in your life related to loss, this might not be the series for you, and this might not be the finale for you. And we understand. Never sacrifice your mental health just for the sake of tuning in. We appreciate those of you who are able to take the time to be with us here. It has been an honor to be the GM for this cast, who I will start just going around calling on to introduce their name, pronouns, and the character name and pronouns. And if they can, remind me what the song their character would hear as they approach death would be. So I'm going to start with one of my favorite people in the world. That's our producer, Aida.
Hi, my name is Aida. My pronouns are she and her. I am playing Ren, whose pronouns are they and them. Ren, when they were alive, was a well known folkloric performer, a dancer. And last session learned died what they loved doing best, but the rest of life maybe was not as ideal. So one of the last thing that Ren heard was actually music, and there would have been brass instruments, a rising crescendo, a band behind them, and like in the peripherals, like a lot of glitter and feathers and ornate costumes, and then asphalt. They would heard crack asphalt, if that's music.
Some people for sure. Thank you, Aida. Next up, the mischievous, the ever rebellious, and the fantastic presence that is Gina.
Oh, me. I was like, definitely not me. Anyway. Hi, I'm Gina. That's she, her. I play Antonia, also she, her. And I think the song that I had chosen at the top of this was I can't say it in Italian, but it's What Would I Do Without My, I think it's Eurydice from the opera whose name I can't remember, Orpheus and Eurydice or something. It's all in Italian, I can't remember. Can't remember what else I was supposed to say.
That's it. That's pretty much it. Thank you for that. Moving on to, as always, the lunar star that is our own Diana Moon.
Hello, everybody. I go by Dynamoon Online. I use she, her pronouns. I am playing, sadly, for the last time, Captain Jimena Itaca Castillo, the Siren of the Jewel Coast, she, they. The first song that came to mind was I Did It My Way, but it's going to be Spanish version of Wrecking Ball. So yeah.
Mirage, go while I recover from that statement.
Hi, I am Altamirage. My pronouns are they, them. I am playing Ophir, pronouns he, they. Ophir was a homeless painter who got out of the streets thanks to a really abusive relationship and by forging paintings. It didn't end well. That's it.
Yep. Sad boy lives on in Sad Boy Adventures. But last but certainly not least, the incomparable DK.
Hello, I am DK, and all of the other times, and also this time, I will be playing Quest Nightingale, the noted explorer who climbed Mount Everest and died for love. And the song that she heard calling her to death was September by Earth, Wind, and Fire, faintly through a living room wall.
Light Sonata. Forgot.
Good choice of song. I love that was your choice of song. So everybody, for the last time, I would like to bring us in to the world that is Hotel Nexus. Our group of travelers, wanderers, those who have not yet left fully the realm of the living, and those yet who have not moved on to the realm beyond, found themselves here initially at a place known as Hotel Nexus, an interstitial nexus point between the planes of life and death, through which individuals, through the means of a gallery of memories, could attempt to go through various scenarios to bring back and unearth the memories that they had lost upon finding themselves stuck, unable to remember even how they died, remembering many details about their past, but much of it being lost in a haze and a fog. Throughout their time here, they faced danger. They have faced the literal manifestation of death, for whom they discovered the hotel manager, Jean-Paul, had managed to siphon a portion of their power in order to create this space for souls to have one last chance to move on peacefully to the afterlife and not be lost to the haze of nihilism and oblivion. Our group, dealing with the aftermath of that reality, received some help from a rather curious source, Xyla, or rather a shade of Xyla, a manifestation and a mirror aspect of a goddess of transition, fate, and death, and discovered in her world, the Twilight Marsh, that death meant something quite terrible in one form, but in the form that she represented, it represented moving on. And so, through a terrible, terrible plunge into the sea of oblivion, they managed to recover driftwood from which different pieces of their memories, the most painful, yet possibly one of the most important memories they've all been unable to bring back, was obtained. The memory of each of their deaths, known to the entire party now. One who chose death willingly to escape her imprisonment. One who received death for their various salacious activities with others, at the cost of perhaps family and the children fathered by them, or rather, yes, I'm going to say fathered for the sake of having a word to use. One who could not give up the life of adventuring one last time and lost their beloved. One who was drowned forcefully by their beloved. And another who died at the highest point in the world, holding on to their beloved to keep them warm, even if it cost her life. With these memories now recovered and brought back to the fore for all of them, I want to note for everyone, all of your death marks are unlocked. All of your abilities are available to you, with this most crucial of memories being uncovered. And that is where we pick up as you remain in the spiraling crystal tower that is the home of your raven silhouetted raven plague doctor mask goddess Xyla. And that is where we pick up for the start of this finale. Ren, you were the last one to venture in and experience what you did and ended our previous session. How do you react once you're out of it?
I think Ren just kind of very gently sits down, like very, very carefully. And the first thing Ren does is lean forward and picks up each of their legs and just like kind of touches down. Like that's their first priority. Squeezing down their legs, lifts up an ankle, twists up their legs like. And there's like this profound sadness and shock, but also like peace. Like they got to say, I died what I loved doing best, but shouldn't there have been more? There's a lot of conflict, but physiologically everyone just sees Red checking their feet, their legs.
How are the rest of you reacting?
Bro, I don't know what to tell you. Ophir is still struggling after their recovery. And I think has probably just been clinging to the captain this entire time and just watching everybody else through their sobs, which have probably calmed down a bit and then pick back up during each memory and then calm down again and then pick back up every time somebody remembers something, you know? But I think he's just kind of sitting there clinging and watching Ren.
And we all saw chunks of each other's ends. There was no privacy to it. It's like all out there.
Nope.
A little teary-eyed, otherwise kind of smiling faintly. And I think she just walks over to Ren and just sort of gently lays a hand on their shoulder. Doesn't bother to ask, are you okay? Because that's sort of a foregone conclusion at this point. Just kind of gives a squeeze and doesn't walk away from Ren.
I think Jimena is just staring off at the sea.
Tony feels great. Like such a weird thing to say. It's feeling pretty great. She's just wringing her skirts out like, okay, I'll work with that.
At one point in time, I was a badass. And you know what? I continue to be a badass.
Facts.
It's good to know that you can make choices about things, okay?
Once again, picturing her just falling back into the ocean.
Just double flipping off the Eldritch entity. That was like keeping her contained. Yeah, honestly, that's
Very John
Inspirational.
Constantine vibe.
yeah, very John Constantine ascending up to heaven, but just going, fuck
Yep.
you. I'm out. I've done what I needed to do. Zyla is present there and is sort of standing to the side and like lifts up one of Zira's wings, and you see that there is like floating right there, just laid out suddenly on a small table, cups of tea, and they are brewed to your particular preferences.
I think Quest will go and just start grabbing them one by one and passing them out, taking special care to go to the people who are kind of frozen still.
Tony's gonna try to make sure everybody can get up or down, whichever they prefer, to stand or sit on the floor or something comfortably.
That boy is not moving from the floor.
Okay.
I think Jimena is subconsciously like rubbing your head of fear. Just like, good boy.
Good boy,
Like, that's
best
all.
boy.
Yeah. Will take the cup of tea, barely a hint of like acknowledgement for it, but does not drink from it quite yet.
I think taking the cup of tea, Ophir probably like puts his hands over Quest's and just gives her a very long look for a moment of like, bro, I saw what you went through. Oh my god. Obviously he doesn't say any of this, but just a look of like, that sucks, but also good job.
Quest just kind of like scratches the back of her hand, the back of their hand with her finger, and winks, and just quiet smile.
The tea and stares at it.
I think Ren takes the cup of tea. And at this moment, I think Ren wants like a scalding hot temperature about it. And Ren is almost like contemplating, like just chugging it hard, and looks up at Xylas like, and how do I pay now for that?
You don't.
People do such things and they don't have to pay for it in the afterlife?
I thought you had meant the tea, dear. The tea was offered freely. It's best to be a little bit more direct. I am not always the best at picking up. I don't know quite the term for this. Social scripts, something of that sort. And they don't always come quite easily to me. I interact with quite a lot of people.
I'm autistic too, I get it.
Okay, that needs to be clipped.
The worst part is I didn't hear exactly what Mirage said. I just saw these cascade of giggles happening across the cast, so I don't even feel great about asking. I'm just like, let it rock, let it go. Let it go, Ange. Let it go.
Just look at the captions, it's fine.
They've
Oh, I think
already
they're gone.
passed.
Well, it'll be a funny moment to look back on.
Yeah, you know what to do.
Something to think
Fucking
about for the next
gremlins.
3 hours.
Ren holds up the cup and like, if you said that the tea was given to the specifications of how the person would have wanted it, Ren is implying that they wanted like a punishingly hot beverage.
Yes, it is scalding mate de coca.
Mm-hmm. Are you the one that gives on the judgment thereafter? Do I inflict my own judgment?
You are ultimately the arbiter of your own fate, dear. Whether the fact that you are even here is of your own design, not of mine. And even if I had control over it, that is not how fate works.
Silent, what exactly are we meant to do with this information? Is it just for our benefit, or is this something that's meant to be actionable?
I think of it like this. Behold, and waves her hand, and across, and this is something I want all of you to decide. I didn't want to tell this ahead of time because I thought it'd be more fun in the moment. All of you decide the various death marks across your bodies, the representations of memories, past harms, past triumphs, moments of joy, frustration, pain, grief, loss, love, longing. They erupt and they create a course for each of you to understand, what to give you perspective on how you would like to move on and where you would like to go. And if you would like to, you're not required to, but if you would like to, you can feel free to describe what it looks like for each of you.
For Quest, they appear as creeping cold. They start out as sort of almost sunburns in the skin, where the skin just kind of gets redder and redder and redder, and then it erupts into what looks like crackling frost, kind of fractal and glittering. And there's a faint sort of fog coming off of them, as if the change in air temperature is creating it.
Does anyone else have a thought as to what theirs might look like? You do not have to. I'm just checking.
Ophir's probably looks like paint splatters, like when painting and you just get paint all over yourself. I imagine that's kind of just what it looks like. Like maybe not intentionally supposed to be there, but if you look at it at the right angle, you know, that kind of looks like a broken bottle. This kind of looks like a bed, you know.
For Jimena, they appear as brands. They almost look, they don't feel painful, but they look painful.
For Ren, I think it's going to look like embroidery, like detailed stitching of lots of different threads, and shaped as if it was a collared suit or top, like down the neck, shoulders, ending at the wrists. Just these lines as if they were hems.
Tony, you don't have to give one if you just can't think of one. I do mean that.
No, it's fine. I can't think of one.
Okay. I did imagine it as at least one piece for her. It looks like a little lantern, like one of those handheld lanterns somewhere across her back, and there's a beam of light that's coming out to show it. But the thing is, the beam of light is doing in two different directions. So there's possibility of different paths happening.
So cool.
These are your way onward, should you choose to follow it. They are ultimately your memories. They are your grief. They are your loss. They are your happiness. They are your strengths. The funny thing about most mortals when they think of fate is that they think it is intangible, it is beyond them, it is inviolate and immovable. And you watch as a cascade of feathers drops from her, and each of them becomes a set of strings and threads that just spread outwards across the entirety of the walls of the crystal tower. But every choice that you have made has always caused a new possibility, a new world, a new potential to arise. Should you wish those possibilities to stop, that is a choice you may take. But should you wish to carry on, even with the pain that you now know, that is also a choice you may make. Fate is not beyond you, some ethereal concept far beyond in the realm of the mental. It is lived. It is what you have chosen to do with your lives, knowing what you did before, knowing what you do now, and considering what you would like to do for the future. More directly, if you wish to live on in the afterlife, holding on to the pain, but knowing that its weight is no longer as heavy for you should you wish to embrace it. That is an option. If you wish to seek oblivion and the end, to be relieved of your pain, that is also an option.
I think Ophir is looking down at one of their death marks, and I think I've decided a few of these aren't paint splatters, but just a couple of them are bruises, actually. But he's looking at one particular that looks vaguely like that very famous painting of Ophelia, drowned body, that is in fact a bruise. And he's kind of just rubbing at it thoughtfully. Are there other options?
There are, I do not know them, but in truth, this is, or rather, it is what I know to be the truth of humans in loss and in death. I am, if nothing else, a shepherd. I've seen you at the moment in which you all say goodbye so many times. And I see how much all of you hurt. And I give you a chance to look back on it all again and let go. Not of the memories, not of the pain, but of the weight of them, but of the knowledge that you cannot go on. I cannot solve every problem, being that I am not truly who I represent here. None of us really are. She sort of gestures outside to everything, to every soul that you see, to every place, visual, auditory, sense, smell, everything. This world is not real. What it means for any of you is for you to decide. What any of these places, and you see she summons images of the vast technologically advanced city in which people are turning to sand, of the floating islands that saw the end of an era when a terrible eclipse took out the sun, to a land of pristine, very like Catholic inspired architecture and such, beset by dragons, to a world with an island and a life tree upon it. That is what all of these have represented. None of this has been the original. None of them have been real. But whatever impact they have had on all of you, and what you remember has been. And that is for you to decide what you wish to do with that information. I cannot make the choice for any of you, and I cannot ultimately decide what choices even exist. I can only tell you what I know.
Our experiences with each other, I think, at least I feel, are very real though. And it's meant a lot to me. And he kind of like leans in a bit. Just, I never had people I could rely on like this. Friends go out of their way to help. His kindness is so foreign to me. So long I was thinking that it would be nice to just not remember anything, to not do anything. I would be fine just not existing. But I think it would be really nice if I got another chance to make friends, live a life where I could maybe be happy. Oh god, I made myself cry.
Right, one down, 4 more to go. It's one.
Jimena does like squeeze Ophir close to them, but they are still silent.
And what about the real world and the real people still there? What if one's happiness was actually a source of pain for others? What if that disappearing would be comfort for those left behind?
Ultimately, that is for you to decide, and yet also at the same time beyond you. That is not ultimately for you to decide. You may decide how you view how you impacted others. That is perfectly fine. But only they can tell you what they went through, what pain you caused them. And also ultimately that you cannot do anything else at this point.
And when do we get to haunt people and visit their dreams and whisper into them and see what they are thinking and feeling?
When you have accepted what you have done. In truth, Ren, that's the only reason you are even here to begin with, is that something about what you have done you have not let go of. In all of your performance and all of your boldness and all of your acclaim. Simple matter of forgiving yourself for what you have done, or rather, making peace with it, even if you do not wish for that forgiveness. This is of your own design, of your own choice. Should you wish to haunt people afterwards, by all means, that is a perfectly adequate way to imagine one's afterlife. But I sense your anger is perhaps much more pointed, though I am left to wonder if it is at the world or it is at yourself.
Ren gets up and pulls off their boots that fit perfectly and never wear down and flings them into the sea. And these would have been Ren's, a duplicate of Ren's dancing boots, which are past ankle, fringe, colored leather, sequined, embroidered. The boots of their costume. Just taken off and unceremoniously like flung like a frisbee into the Sea of Memoria.
We'll hear muttering as Ren is doing that. What I would give to haunt that bastard.
How can I go to her? How can I find her in the afterlife?
Move on.
But
Or
is it a
rather,
guarantee?
You will find her if that is what you wish to do. If you are willing to accept the possibility that she may not wish to see you. And that perhaps you feel you do not deserve that. These are all things that again, you all ask for the information. I give you what I can, but ultimately these are decisions you must all make. Do you feel you deserve to see them? Do you want to move on, knowing the memories of what you have done? Living with that pain, but knowing that it does not define you. That others saw you in all of your glory and all of the tragedy and all of the malice and menace that you were? Could you live with that?
If I was given another chance, yes.
Just out of curiosity, what is going through Antonia's head hearing all of this and just aftermath of all this?
This is very easy for her. It's very easy for her. It's, well, the thing she's stuck on is like, well, did she actually, like, get out of there? Which she's insisted that she has, but it's like, okay, so now that we have that answered, it's like the easy answer is, well, you gotta respect that and keep going. Being here is kind of, here broadly is kind of being stuck between point A and point B. So you got to keep going toward point B. So this is a very simple decision for her, and she's just waiting for everybody else to talk it out.
He's like, we're on a schedule here, people. I have like a meeting at like 12 o'clock that I gotta get to. There's like 6 eldritch horrors that want to kill me and are all gonna miss because they're chumps. Like,
yeah, you got to keep going. She has been stuck in one place a very long time, so, and that she knows that she can just keep moving. I'm just saying the same thing over again.
yeah, no, but it makes sense for Antonia's because it's like your whole thing has been like, I don't want to be stuck in one spot. I did that for enough of your life. Let's keep going. And also, oddly, you are the most, outside of Quest, you are the other one in the party who's most able to actually just kind of keep going because you've known clearly there's a way out. It's not the funnest way out, but there is a way out. And that might hold true for everything else.
The only way out is through, guys.
What's going on through Quest's mind in light of all of this information? Lord dump.
Quest knows who she is now, and she has her answer. She doesn't need the death marks to tell her where to go. She knows exactly what she's going to do.
Inspirational moment.
And I do think Quest kind of looks at Antonia to see if she has also already reached her conclusion.
I just want to note for the record, as your GM, that I love the fact that the two most willing to judge Ophir for bedtime company are the two most stable people right now.
We were not judging, we just had some questions. And by some, I mean so many questions.
Who are you?
None of them being why.
Yeah, no.
Just what is your
Zero of
intent?
them.
One of them being, how does he get so much hair product to keep his hair so sleek and shiny?
Oh god, no, it's a big mood in real life.
Like, my hair doesn't cooperate with me that way. Why is this asshole get nice, long, silvery locks and I have to deal with this crap every morning?
I think Ren looks at Jimena, having seen how Jimena went and how Jimena is definitely still feeling for that other individual, and just kind of hits Ren like a sack of bricks, like, I think heaven for the person and people who I've hurt must be them seeing me beg for their forgiveness. Heaven for them has to be all their little prayers and candles that they've burned for my sake meaning something. Heaven for them has to mean that I know. And if I'm not there to be on my knees begging for their forgiveness, then I want to be there to receive them. I'm prostrate. They deserve this. No matter what it costs for me.
Sometimes you are the environmental storytelling skeleton. This made sense in my mind, I swear. You're the accessory to their heaven. You're there to help tell the story, not to actually be there.
This is Ren removing from the spotlight.
Exactly.
I hate the fact that the first thing I thought of when you said that was the like 12, 14 foot tall, like prop skeleton that was just chilling in someone's yard that became a meme like months ago. I hate that that's my first thought. Damn you, Mirage.
I didn't put that thought there.
You facilitated it. Like I am facilitating this sadness.
But is that skeleton cute?
It's kind of nice. Not much of a bony, but you know. Yeah.
All right, you know what? This game has been fun, but I gotta go.
I swear to God, nobody clipped that I've made that statement. Nobody say that. God damn it.
Seeing Aida do just that with their innocent face.
I caused this to myself. I have hurt myself in my own confusion, damn it. But, getting back into the scene. The choice is yours to make and to discover. Should you wish to go home, I will do my best to bring you back to the hotel, though I sense it is not doing so well.
What's your opinion on that? Like, how is it?
I love Antonia so much.
Like, what's the vibe on that?
Like, what is your opinion of that? What do you mean? Like, what do you think of the concept of the hotel existing? Like, what
Just
do you
all of
mean
it,
by
the
it's not
entire
doing
down
so
low.
well? Like,
just the entire down low. like
We're having the tea. We need the tea.
Does Zyla need tea? I think Zyla needs some tea.
I'm so sad I didn't make a cup of tea just for the moment, just for the ability to go like that on this exact moment.
Tisk.
The failures of your GM not to prep. It's not as though she was thinking about something else that was important for this story.
Sounds fake.
I would say, like, if you ask her there seriously, Antonia, she would tell you that it's the ambition of someone trying to keep a promise to someone they loved. And trying to help people with the limited means that he knows how.
so.
A very self-sacrificing person who literally has given up his opportunity to be with his loved one in the afterlife to give everyone else a chance to try and recover what they lose. Because it's the gist of it, so as to not belabor this point too much and do another giant multi-minute lorddom thing.
Too long didn't read. Totally fine.
Yeah, the TLDR version of this is essentially every single one of them who works at the hotel, as you've been told before, is giving up their chance to the afterlife to give folks a chance to recover memories. Because the thing about being stuck in the way that all of you are and all the hotel guests are is that it's remarkably traumatic, because there's a whole bits of yourself that feel like you and aren't you, and you don't know who that person is. So the introduction of the limbos was the best method they found for finding a gradual integration of people to their current state. The presence of danger in them was only a much more recent phenomenon that occurred. Most of the time, they were often a lot more relaxing, but in truth, they've become much more dangerous because Jean Paul is not able to hold back death in the same way anymore. Because it's basically, imagine someone who's been, actually, another perfect parallel for those of you who understand this reference, and I will explain it for those of you who don't. If any of you know the Bloodbender from Avatar: The Last Airbender, I'm about to explain it. So there's a character who essentially was holding off invasion troops multiple times over many years, and people were being kidnapped over time. Think of that basically as Jean Paul's work he was doing against death. Because over time, as the invasions took more and more people, it became harder and harder to hold back everything until it collapsed. That's essentially what Jean Paul has found himself in this current time, is that he's trying his best with all the means he has and all the people who are still there working to give your group and everyone that he can a chance to remember and still fulfill the purpose, because to not do so would be to break his promise to Isaac.
Ready for his heel turn.
All right, trying to get a read on this, because Zyla's also one of the death things. I'm like, okay, we need to figure out what.
Basically, this is the part of death. What you're really getting a sense of with the difference between Zyla and the death some of you have encountered so far is that Zyla is just about moving on, forging ahead, carrying on, and that's kind of what transition represents in death for her, and what the domain she presides over. It's not about letting go, but it is also about moving on, because grief continues to haunt you long after the initial event. Pain, loss, tragedy, it carries on. It lingers like a scar, but such things still heal. And the idea about what her original role and her original incarnation was for death was to give peace to those in remembering. Whereas the death you've met is more about, is basically the most primordial version of death. There's just sort of where there is life, death is the balance to that. Where there is the flourishing of life, there is the hunger of death. That's the TLDR version. That's all of it. You have the control C paste, control V version of lore as related to the hotel and the situation. But that is where you are at.
So Ren would ask Antonia, like looking down towards her, do you ask because you wish to contribute in some way?
Define contribute.
Punch death?
I don't know what the options are, so. But above table, so it's like, okay. Shit being fucked is bad. Okay. Bad for sure.
But is it our problem? Are we making it our problem? And if our problem, do we then punch death, whatever that entails? And will that fuck up our transition?
I obviously don't want to deal with any more shit because everything is scary and I hate it. But
you can do it.
These people have done a lot for us. I think it would be nice to help if we can. But also, I understand not wanting to because I also don't want to.
You are talking right now, Quest. You are muted from what I can tell. Try
I can
talking.
hear you typing.
Try talking, DK. Okay,
Ah,
there you go.
We hear you.
there
here.
you
That
go.
was weird.
I wasn't muted at all, so that's cool. What was I saying? Come back to me. I don't remember now.
Was it regarding going to storming the castle or not?
Oh, I think Quest said something to the effect of, unfortunately for you, Ophir, I think you're right.
He just gives a small thumbs up and hey.
Unfortunately, Ophir is right.
That is frequently that's one of the running themes of this series without intending it to be. It's just unfortunately Ophir was right.
And what would helping the hotel and JP entail then?
Saving people, helping people, risking oblivion and the ultimate release of not of being lost to nihilism and the void itself that death represents.
Oh, again.
Yes.
Well, I was already heading there, so I'm okay risking that again. But also, and looking to Jimena, if you don't want to risk this, of course I don't blame you.
I think I looked down at a fear. And for Jimena, it's more of the, am I doing it again? Am I avoiding a hopeful, happy ending with finding my love again by doing another adventure? And I can't do it. If this is my only chance to make up for all the hurt I've given her, I need to go to her. I'm sorry, everybody. I can't go with you all.
DK, what did you say?
I don't know what is happening with my sound right now. I might be getting noise gated. Quest just looks at Jimena and says, is it okay if we at least walk you back to wherever you gotta go then?
And Jimena nods.
Well, Capitan, if you are going, and should we be unable to join you later, will you carry what you have learned here?
If I'm allowed to, yes. I'll definitely. I'm a pirate. I can definitely try to smuggle.
Thank you, Capitan.
Ophir is going to stand up and we'll just stand out to Jimena to help her up.
And Jimena takes it. And then before letting go, she takes her hand to her lips to kiss it.
He still blushes despite everything.
Thank you, Ophir.
Thank you. You'll find her.
And I think I turn to Zyla and we kind of give like the, so what do I do shrug. Like, what now?
I will send you all back to the hotel, and from there you will be able to your map. The marks upon your body will guide you to your love. Should you wish not to be lost to oblivion, to live with the memories of what you've done and accept the harm that you have done, your path will be ahead of you. The seas will be charted for you, and you will find your way. Are you ready to return, all of you?
Party has accepted escort mission.
We're escorting the captain. I love this. This is such a nice version of how this all started out.
The captain walks fast, right?
No. It's an escort mission. My chat's gonna make me cry. God damn it! Fuck you, Quest. Fuck you, DK in particular. Zyla walks you out of the crystal tower, and you see that there is an individual who is waiting there. It was the raven-winged. What you can see was a almost paladin-esque sort of figure, massive black plate armor, raven wings, and you see the helm which had been put down is raised up, and you see that there is a woman's face there. Somewhat paler skin, kind of bluish green eyes. You can tell the hair has been cut relatively short, even through the helmet. So, am I taking all of you back, or is this what we're doing?
Yes, please.
All right, whether I'm just taking you back for your end, or whether you're going to go fight a god in a parking lot, either way, let's go. And you watch as she whistles, and there is a massive horse that just suddenly appears, a winged horse, like multiple legs, far more for legs than a horse should normally have. Basically, think like Sleipnir kind of design, and as passage for all of you. All right, get on. I'm sure some of you know how to ride this kind of thing. And if you don't, well, you're about to learn. Good luck.
Quest scrambles up.
Ren gets up barefoot.
I've never ridden a horse before.
Ivana helps
Especially-
Ophir. Just knowing
Ah.
instinctually Ophir doesn't know how to do this. It's like, here you go.
I'm a city boy.
Damn city slickers.
Antonia hoists up
Yeah.
the dress and just gets on.
Yep.
Just galloping just happens, and then you just take off into the sky, and you see that a familiar sort of portrait-sized opening appears. And as you leave, and as you all are able to come in contact with the portrait, the individual just sort of winks at all of you on the horse, and you hear as you come back into the gallery, just one last raven, like crowing. And when you arrive back in the gallery, it is in shambles. Whole portraits have been slashed apart or tossed around. Installations have been shattered and broken into multiple pieces, and lying against the wall is Jean-Paul with a gash across his chest, and an individual right next to him who looks familiar to all of you, actually, though for very different reasons. Need to pull my notes back up for this.
You do that. You pull your notes up. Ophir is ripping his earring back out, whipping his sword out, and shaking and stepping in front of Jimena, just trembling.
I totally forgot your weapon was your earrings. I was like, what
I
the
just
fuck
thought
is
you were just doing that like as a nervous tick. Like
Just
that's
to
what-
square up with
your
you.
poor
Yeah.
ear.
I've got a little sword.
That's right. It took me a moment. I was like, what the
I'm
heck?
I'm with
He's
DK
just
on this. Ophir's fucking ear is just like bloody the entire time. But
fine.
interesting note. There is this is what I have written down. This is rough approximation from our first session. There is what appears to be a chauffeur driver with a warm, strong professional presence that looks very familiar to Antonia. There is what I believe I've just have it written in my notes as hot topic driver for Jimena. There is what looks to be an individual wearing a cowboy hat, and there is a big slobbery boof doggo right next to the individual that Quest recognizes. There appears to be what looks like I think I described her as the lesbian heavy metal trucker from Cowboy Bebop for Ophir. And there looks to be someone who looks the equivalent of like what an old boys club driver would be for Ren. As you all recognize that it is Albert, who is there with all of you.
That's unexpected. Okay.
As the one finishing the gash on JP?
No. To be very clear.
Yeah.
Alba's taking care of Jean-Paul. Yeah. Alba's just sort of like, you fucking fool. God damn it.
You goddamn.
What did I tell you about calling me when you needed me? Yes, I hate your guts, but I don't want you to die again. You're just hearing, you just see it. You're hearing what sounds like the ripping of like cotton pads and different things. I can't remember. It's like bandaging tape.
Yeah. Okay, quick
like,
question. Is my skull around?
Yes, your skull friend is still around.
Okay.
It's like, hey.
Collect that.
I'm not hey, Antonia, are you back? I'm not exactly enjoying being here on the ground. All I can see is this artwork. It says something about the perfection of man, and there seems to be an old like Grecian dude who looks like he's barking like a dog at a bunch of other like Greek sort of felt. I don't understand exactly why this is a thing. I don't know if it's meant to be witty or if it's meant to be subversive. Either way, I don't like the spot.
Look for him, put him in my bag right now because like, we're doing important things.
Mommy's working.
Go. Mommy's working. But yeah, no, you all see the familiar presence of Alp there, and Jean-Paul is just sort of like very dazed, sort of like, I thought I could handle it with everyone here.
Well, this all looks terrible.
Oh, good. You've all made it back.
Slowly, shakily lowering his sword.
I promise, it looks much worse than it is.
I think Jimena pats Ophir's on the shoulder. Like, again, just subconsciously, good boy. Like, she's very endeared by the fact. Yeah, endeared by the fact that this little boy was trying to protect her with a sword.
Little Chihuahua guard dog.
Somebody do art Ophir's Chihuahua, damn it. I just want a Chihuahua with Ophir's hairstyle now. Damn it, I will pay for that
Probably
art.
Probably closer to a papillon, I think.
Damn it, now I have to go look at what a papillon looks like.
So where is death? What are they weak to? And will you be okay?
How can we help?
In order. Not sure. This hurts a lot. Also, I did look up what a papillon looks like. Ophir is definitely a papillon. It is adorable and also looks like the smallest doggo who would constantly be afraid of anything and everything.
Very fluffy.
Well, they're very fluffy, and also Chihuahuas will fight everything. Ophir does not want to fight anything.
So how do we get Capitan to move forward without and unwanted guests disrupting it?
Oh, that's a very good question. The seal. This is John Paul talking, by the way. Totally tossing aside all of the air of formality that
Yeah.
he's had most of the time. The basement seals have been broken, which means he is allowed to roam. But there may also be a possibility of you finding a way onwards there. That is the best chance I can give you. Normally, I would help someone go through the ceremony myself, but you do see blood is coughed up. I am perhaps not in the best position to be doing this.
Get out of here. You should go to your office, maybe.
I will do what I can, and I will attempt to take whichever guests are still left to safety. I will be fine. And tries to stand up on his own, and Alb literally is just like picking him up. Yeah. I know you're suffering. You're going through so many different things. Yeah. Oh, God. This is why I stopped working with you in an everyday capacity, John Paul. It's like I thought we disagreed about the decor. Like, no. I mean, I disagree with that too. Why is it always snakes and condors and eagles with you? It's a reference to Andean iconography and such. Okay, well, that's a much better answer than I would have expected. But still, they're fighting basically like a married couple, and they're just carrying on. But it looks as though Albert is gonna be able to take care of Jean Paul, but Jean Paul's looking pretty booked up. Also, hello there, Raiders. Hello there, sweet Rosie B. Aren't you an absolute delight bringing us some folks here to watch
Wow.
us for this Afterlife Hotel Nexus finale we're having here? Our party's just come back to their hotel. It's in ruins. The hotel manager, it has a bloody gash across his chest and is being helped up by, depending on who you ask, a trucker lesbian, a cowboy lesbian, a Hot Topic employee lesbian, charming dude, or mom. I could say mommy, but I feel like that's not quite what Ophir is looking for. What Mirage is looking for, but it's not what Ophir is looking for.
Ophir prefers daddy, but he's technically bi.
He's just Jimena sexual.
Deep lore.
Who isn't?
I mean, captain, also pirate.
Captain.
We'll just go with Ophir as captain sexual. It does not matter gender. But
So, Capitan, how do we help you pass and ensure that death does not interfere before we go punch death and join you thereafter? That is the
He
plan.
did say the basement would be our best bet. He says, trembling.
Al sótano, to the basement.
Yeah, I think we buy him in a time to get wherever they need to go.
I appreciate it all. Thank you. And yeah, I think we had since I think I'm the only one that actually has been towards the basement before.
you
so
are
I'll
the
be-
only one
Yeah.
who literally knows any sort of path, because they're the only one who, by sheer luck of a roll, ended up there and dealt
Yeah.
with. By the way, hi, I'm Death. Here's your love. Just looking at you and giving you guilt for stuff you don't even remember you did.
I'm stab.
But yeah, we'll head on there, and I think as was inferred, the death marks will help. Jimena is thinking of all the brands on them, of this is just like a pirate's map, I'm finding mi tesoro, and I will navigate this as I've always had.
You find that the hotel has changed in the time you've all gone through to this Twilight Marsh. That the hedge mazes that were once outside, thriving with rose gardens and flower beds, have now become twisted. It's the best way I can describe it is for anyone who's ever seen Sleeping Beauty, like the old Disney animated movie. You know the forest of thorns and vines that emerges outside of the castle to block the prince's path? That's basically it. That's what you're seeing. Like the hedge mazes have overgrown and leaked into different hallways now. And this is now a matter of trying to navigate through this place. And you are seeing at different points it's a rather grim sight in that you're kind of like, as you're walking into the first hallway, you're kind of hearing no! Sounds of people, like vines grabbing somebody and like chucking them off into the distance. I would say, Ren, one of the people who you had an enjoyable evening with, the Susie and the Banshees looking one, you just watch as she attempts to come out into the hallway, and then you just watch as what appears to be like a wave of water from out of what looks to be a swimming pool area just entirely overwhelms her and pulls her back into what you appears to be a yawning wide void that is replaced where the depths of the pools are.
Brent gets out their approach, which is the scepter with the ribbons on it. But now the ribbons are kind of taut to the end of the scepter, kind of resembling more of a bow and arrow situation. And sensing that it's going to get hasty here, I think it's time to pop out some wings and help this group move along faster.
Okay.
Especially since they're barefoot and probably walking on this debris is not being pleasant.
Nope. It's not good. It's not good right now. But the hallways have twisted and turned. And I would say this will come down to a roll from somebody to try and figure out a way to get through this initial part of the hallway. Quest?
I think anyone who is standing immediately near Quest will see a series of those sort of glowing crystalline death marks are a trail of ants marching up her arm. One of my death marks is that barriers pose little threat to me. So I would like to get out in front and lead.
Let me see if I can conjure the correct image for this, and you tell me if this works for you, DK. For the Lord of the Rings movie fans, Balrog, like fucking Gandalf having the orb of protection around him is the literal Balrogs whipping him with a flame chain. That's kind of what I'm imagining, except it's much more crystalline. And like there's moments where like the vines of the hedge mazes start trying to wrap around the orb and they get frozen over entirely and just like part. That is one obstacle navigated.
You also mentioned that these are all vines and thorns. One of my
Yes.
death marks is I can make plants grow. Would the converse also be true that you can control their growth to pull them back?
I would say that works.
Well, yeah.
Tell me if this detail works for you, Haida. There is an overgrowth of flowers that occur that stop the vine's progress. The flowers look as though they're kind of upside down crab claw red and orange colorations to them. Those of you who are interested in knowing, It is a flower that is common to Bolivia. It is the national flower of Bolivia. They spring up, and whichever ones don't manage to be blocked by Ren's flowers, the ice and the barrier just freezes them. You are all able to start walking down the hallway, and you look into another room and you see that there is someone. There is the Tina Turner-esque individual who was originally offering for whomever wanted to go in the chance to enter a space known as the Echo Room. There is nothing. The moment if any of you try to enter, it is dissonance. It is like 8,000 different brass horns are playing out of tune and like only a half step away from each other in terms of degrees. So it's like the most dissonant interval you can possibly have, and it's like a cacophony of sound. And she appears to be extremely overwhelmed and overstimulated, stuck in the center of the room.
Could I, inspired by Ren, use my, what's it called? Talent, my Mirage Craft, to try and, I don't think I have a death mark that would specifically help, but can I try and roll something to grow like plants to shield her and like make a path out to join us?
I would say so. I would put this down to a challenge roll 3. So you need to roll. You need 3 successes for this. And if you can manage that, then it will make a path for her to escape.
Cool. One, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, 5 successes. Nice.
Very nice. The plants grow up. They look frail and fragile, but they create almost like I'm imagining like sound canceling like pads you might put up in like a studio recording room.
Thinking, yeah.
They create like a space that outlines it, and you just see her just very carefully like make her way over. She collapses in front of you, and you see that Jean-Paul and Albert are able to come up and like take her away. And you see that she, for whatever reason, this woman seems to have chosen the most inopportune moment to wear extremely high heels to walk away in. So it's like the most horrible situation. You just hear echoing across all the tiles. Just click clack of the big ass heels. She's working it very nicely. There is another room you were able to pass by where you see there is yeah, let's go with that. There is an arboretum of souls, in which were once greeted the smells of things like apples and peaches. There is a foul stench on the air, just emanating out of the room. It is not so much that everything in this place is beginning to blacken and die, and more that it is beginning to wither and dry out. Everything within this place is beginning to just become subsumed and just cave in within itself. And you see that there is someone who is struggling to make her way through the ground. It's giving way underneath her, and she is holding on to the edge of space near the opening to this room.
I do, if nobody else has anything.
I can't do anything useful other than just running at her.
Cool. I do actually have a death mark that I completely overlooked. The paintbrush trick, the world is a canvas, which I guess fits in with Rajcraft as well. But so they're sinking into the ground.
Yeah, it's like imagine every like a desert where like the land is just getting and like you know how like all the cracks that form around very desiccated sort of earth and land begin to start like splitting open. It's having that effect, but doing like imagine like when you break a pane of glass, the way that like it starts spreading across in different spots. Imagine that effect on the ground. It's just splintering, spreading out, and beginning to just you're seeing what look like stuff that has not seen the light of day in centuries, stuff that has been specifically preserved in the arboretum that is now dying and withering away and drying out, and the land itself is breaking apart.
Going to point my sword as if it were the Disney Channel wand and start drawing in the air. And going to try and paint over the vines that are like over, like the thorns overgrowing, paint over those and turn them into willow branches, but strong ones, to dip down and have something she can grab onto and climb over.
I would like you to roll for me for this one.
All right. Also for the last one and for this one, I am doing Soul Create. All right, I have a 6, a 5, a 4, 3, 1, 2, 6. Okay, 4 successes.
That is enough. You're able to figure out, and again, you see an older, more middle-aged, pardon, not older, just middle-aged, Mexican-American woman who seems to just greet you with a smile. And while everything else around her, the stench has been overpoweringly like dreadful, as she runs by you and gives you a thanks, it's the most heavenly scent of fruit and plants that you have ever experienced. Just someone who has dedicated their entire life to preserving all of these different things. And it's like they've imprinted on her as well. You all carry on and pass by one last room, the dining hall, which you all ate in multiple times throughout your time here in the hotel. There is a feast here, but it is rotting, spread out everywhere. It is a mess in here. You see Judy, the one who was facilitating all of this and making sure that you are all being taken care of, passed on the ground in front of you. The tables all spread, it's all like beautiful, like cutlery and plates and everything, but it's displaying all of these like extravagant foods that have all had like weeks past when they should have been eaten and all terrible. And you see sort of sitting in a spot at the head of one of the tables, right in the center of the dining hall, is you see a lupine figure, a wolf, almost humanoid, who is just sitting there very casually, holding up a wine glass and sipping from it. Oh,
Shuts the door.
I mean, that's an option you can take.
We need to get in there.
No, we just need to cut off the monologue. Oh, we're thinking.
I love my players so much.
You just keep going. We'll be in a second.
It's just I'm just imagining like when I was a kid and I just wanted to get to the dinosaur action parts of Jurassic Park. I just put in the VHS and fast forwarded it until it got to the dinosaur parts. It's like yeah, lore, yeah, like irresponsibility of scientific morality and ethics. Yeah. Let me ignore all of that. Dinosaurs.
Okay, so,
Or pardon, I've said it incorrectly. Dinosaurs.
so that's in there.
I have to say,
Go ahead, sorry.
yeah, so that's in there.
So that's in there behind a closed door now. And there's rubble and vines and wreckage around us.
That's the way we need to go?
Well, there's a staircase nearby that leads lower, so...
Great, okay.
We'll look back.
Gonna use my paintbrush death mark and just throw some plants over the door, turn, and just keep walking.
We left Judy in there, by the way.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I did not know. I didn't hear that part. I'm so sorry.
I said Judy is passed out on the floor.
I missed that. I just heard... I guess I was
We just stared at Ophir.
Ophir's like, I've never been fond of Judy, actually.
Villain now.
No, that's not worth it. Let's just go.
Okay, fine. That's also a choice, I mean.
Like, I had Ovaltine ready.
Oh no.
Okay, my bad.
The only thing that didn't rot was the Ovaltine.
Mm-hmm. Probably still closes the door just out of panic. And then just like, shit.
It's a container of kimchi that's actually in an even better state than when it started because it needed to ferment.
Is someone here good at making a fire?
I can control fire.
As can I.
I can start one. I've made a lot on the streets.
So...
Would the Capitan and I be able to control some fire into Death's face in such a manner that would allow others to rescue our provider of sustenance?
Provided that we haven't killed Angela.
I'm controlled. I am contained. I am composed. Damn it. I am a professional. The answer is yes, you could do it. I would need one of you. It is a challenge of 4 to do this. To distract him long enough so that he doesn't immediately wonder, okay, fire. Cool. I'm a god
I love
of
the
death.
picture of him just sitting there with the door closed, like, did they really just... And then the door opens.
It's like,
Ophir...
you son of a...
He's still indignant.
Ophir's gonna pat around for, like, something for kindling and then probably find a lighter that he didn't use for himself, but probably just kept on hand for Bruce. And is just gonna be like...
I can only roll 4 dice. Can you roll more, Ren?
If I flavor this as... If I want to distract, could that be interpreted as a charm? Then yeah.
I would allow it, but here's the thing. More important thing. One of you needs to roll for the check, and if the other one wants to spend from their pools in order to guarantee successes, that is an option you can do. Don't forget that that's something that you can do for each other.
But only before, not after the fact.
Only before. So, like, Jimena could give you, like, 2 successes if she's willing to spend the pool from her pool, but if you don't roll the extra that you need, then it's going to be a loss to them and you. Okay. It's your call, but remember, it's 4. That's pretty high up there. Even with your attributes, it's pretty high up there. So
if I, for example, if I lent like my ferocity, and that goes to 0, what's the effect? Like I use like my entire, because I have 2 in ferocity.
pulls going to 0 is not the issue. It's when your core attributes start dropping and you
Okay.
start taking harm to your stats. That's when the debuffs essentially start kicking in. That's
Okay.
why I'm going the consequences will be severe should you fail this.
Because I'm willing to give up
But it's
2 points of ferocity so that we can bring that challenge rating down to 2 and have Ren roll.
If I use Soul Charm 5, if I use my approach to sort of manipulate this, do I get another one? Then a 6 die plus the charm. So,
I'm willing to also
9 die.
use 2 points of ferocity to help, if that's okay.
yeah, it's as far as I can tell, there's nothing in the rules that doesn't say multiple people can't do this. It is simply a matter of are you willing to spend it? Because again, its difficulty of 4 is really high.
Okay.
You could roll. You could end up in a you could end up in a situation like I did in another game where I rolled 10d10 and only 3 of them were successes.
Okay.
Yeah.
With my approach, I'm rolling 10 die. Is that enough without people contributing to lower the DC?
I would say. So it wouldn't be lowering the DC. It would just be giving you the successes. So it does, but it doesn't.
Ren is willing to roll the 10 die.
Yes.
It is up to the other players whether or not to gamble in advance to do what they're going to do.
I have 4 ferocity. Is that what that was? What I said? Whatever. Yeah. I have 4 of what I'm willing to give, so that would bring me down to 2. So if you want to keep yours, Kimena.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I have like the lowest stats in this game, but then again, it was extremely difficult to understand how to do the stats.
Stats are a little tricky.
Messed it up. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's finale. We're gonna keep chugging along, but Ren, roll to, I don't know, pyromania, I guess is what we're gonna call this.
Dazzling distraction of fire.
So I'm just gonna run in as soon as this happens to grab Judy.
The intention is to like aim upwards at Death's face, so hopefully someone can, save the provider of yummy food. Okay,
You're trying to scare the puppy.
As soon as we get in there, I'd like to throw my shield over Judy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like I'm fueling the fire and Ren is controlling it with their dance movements.
Yep. I like the scenario.
That one episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Bullshitting though this is, I approve of this. I like player bullshittery. I just want to note that for the record.
How many successes did I need? Because I got them.
It's like because
yes.
I was very scared as to what that statement was about to be.
0 out of 10.
I got 6 successes.
Totally possible.
Okay,
Nice.
you are more than fine. I was gonna tell you right now, had you failed that, the consequence of it would have been
Death.
Well, no, it would have been here. Let me double check. I think I have it right here. Oh yeah, it would have been 3 points of damage to Antonia's HP.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, I'm aware how much HP you have as well.
Oh, I have 5 now. I have 5 now.
Yeah, I know. I know it would still hurt.
It would.
Yes, like that is.
Cute.
You all are able working together to protect Judy, and you sort of just see like the heat just shatters the glass in Death's hand, and just like
the door is just briefly opened.
Gonna grab Judy.
what is your and then right before you can even finish, doors just like closed again, vines go up, and you're able to make it downstairs
With Judy?
with Judy.
I almost feel bad.
Unconscious. Whatever you're doing with an unconscious person.
I feel bad for Angela the GM to not have their cool Lobo moment, but definitely not.
No,
feel bad for the
it's
character.
totally fine. Look,
He's so much madder at us now.
Yes.
He's so much
So,
angrier.
oh, you have no idea. He's so pissed right now.
I mean, we
But-
interrupted his villain monologue.
Is there
You
like a
basically
We didn't even get
did.
him to start.
is there like a
Yeah.
safe location I can store Judy?
Judy immediately after you get her out says, "Thank you. I owe you
Oh.
all a fantastic meal when this is all over. I'm gonna go now." Runs
Okay.
over to what you see is there are like runes like appearing floating in front of what appears to be the office space that I think, Antonia, you're the only one who's ever visited after the moment where you all interviewed with Jean-Paul separately. So it is warded and it is being protected, but as we are going to move into break at this point in time, I'm going to leave us off at you all head downwards through the stairs that Jimena has seen before, and you see there where once was dozens of chains and padlocks, a la Silent Hill, for the room's interior, just closed in, just barred off door. There is just a door that's been like appears to be blasted off the hinges, and you see staring past into it. There is city streets awaiting for Ophir. There is festival music for Ren. There is a seacoast where there is no lighthouse, where there is freedom away from everything. There is an open sea with someone waiting for you, and there is another mountain to be scaled. And that is where we are going to take our break, everybody. That is the last image you are all seeing right now before you pass the threshold. So, as we're going into break, we're going to be out for about 10 minutes, everybody. Be sure to hydrate, take your meds if you haven't. I know I have, thankfully, taken them before this. And reminder, if you aren't already subscribed to our Twitch channel and the YouTube channel, go do the thing. But even better yet, post this game and such. Watch many of the fantastic one-shots and series that we have. We have everything from gay to space gay to sad gay to tragic gay. We have all the gays here. And also, we just have a lot of different feels, funniness, hilarity, and just tragic sads. We got all the things you might want for all of your queer enjoyment and all of your general AP entertainment. So we'll see everybody in about 10 minutes. Y'all take care right now.
Toodles.
Hello there, lovelies. Welcome back here on Girls Run These Worlds to the finale of Hotel Nexus, episode 8, which I had entirely forgotten at the top of the session to actually tell you what the name of this session was called. Checkout. So, Diana's face of like, I am a concern. Understandable and warranted. But you join us here as our group of travelers, wanderers, having gone through many different interstitial planes of existence in their journey to recover their memories of death, and having finally succeeded in doing it, have returned to the hotel and are seeking a means to let their friend move on and find their beloved again. They have found themselves on the precipice of the doorway which was once closed in the basement area of the hotel, into which, for all of them peering in, see very different things, unique to every single one of them. And it is a tempting sight for every single one of you. What do you do?
Can't help but lean in and peer. Not leaning into the door, but leaning to try and look further in to see if I can see anybody, because even though there's still something in my heart that's like, you loved him. So, abusive relationships and all. He's
As you do? Is that what I'm supposed to say in
unfortunately
response to that?
as you do.
Yeah, sadly, yeah. Yeah. Oof. Too real.
So, despite it all, he can't help but peer in and almost hopefully, almost definitely dreadfully looking for his man's.
You put your head like in past the threshold?
No.
Okay, just
like
checking.
leaning to peer.
For you, Ophir, you see city streets. You see Adrian walking down them, looking very happy and content.
And forgive me, I'm bad with names. Hot vampire?
Yes, Adrian is
Right.
Adrian is hot vampire.
Cool. Definitely perks up at that. But still holding his ground, because we're here to escort the Capitan. And that is the first order of business.
Since I have been in the, or thought I have been in the room, since it was a little hazy when I last came to the basement, I want to try to perceive with my captain eyes anything that's not supposed to be there, or like whatever might be actually off here.
You can
To
roll
see
it.
with your captain eyes.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm allowed to invoke. What do you see with your keen captain eyes at this moment, solely because of your phrasing? But yes, you may roll.
Purposely. Let's see.
I enjoy my players. I enjoy when they meme at me.
Yeah, so that's 5. What's the
4.
okay? And I do have question mark, which gives me an additional die when perceiving things. That's so
Do that.
1, 2, 3. No, only got 3.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you, are you going to take the fall on this one? Or are you willing to suffer a memory so it doesn't inherently get worse?
Well, for the memory.
You remember a promise being made to your beloved this trip would be the last. This one, it would end perfectly, and you even started picking out the place that you would take up residence after this was all done. You remembered the promise part, but the promise of exactly knowing where you were going to stay, exactly where she would be happy, that part was not made aware to you. You lose a point of will.
Because that would bring me down to 0. I think I have. Where is it? Let me make sure.
Your death mark is each session.
It's each yeah.
Each session, so you do have
Yeah.
the one inured.
Yeah. So
loss of-
handcuffs. Ignore the first time you would lose a point of will during a session.
I'm
So I
still
think
only mildly perturbed by the fact that it's handcuffs
right.
that keeps
Yeah.
will.
And I think
I'm
like because everything about a pirate and everything is about water and ever moving, the placements are always different, but this time the handcuffs show on her wrists.
if you're okay with this, Diana, is it all right for me to say that Jimena is tempted to move forward without thinking about the consequences? Is that okay, or do you want to not do that?
No, that makes
You
sense.
can say no. Okay.
That makes sense, yeah.
Jimena starts walking forward, folks.
Is this what's supposed to happen? Great.
Jimena doesn't say anything. You would think Jimena would say one last word or something, very captain-y, monologue-y, but no, Jimena just starts.
Yeah. Going to grab her hand and just kind of like glance at the others. Step after her. Just say, Captain Jimena.
You notice
Any
up
response?
here?
There's the promised place. I promised her. No deviations this time.
I think it's going to give her hand a squeeze. Pull it up to his lips and give it a kiss. Let go and say, go get her. Hoping this is the right choice. Ugh.
You walk forward, Jimena.
I think I take a step, but it's not like, the full like step, like there's still like a part kind of like you do with a chess move where you're not quite letting go yet because then it's official. um kind of sense and just remembering not necessarily Ophir saying goodbye, but Ophir's lips, you know. And I think the fact that technically I never got to say goodbye to anybody. Like this wasn't we all dying. It wasn't in a battle of glory of like, yes, onwards, men. It was just like, yeah, we're safe. Crash, kind of thing that happened. Um, and I'm like, wait, I have to say goodbye to this crew. Like, I can't make that mistake again. And so I think I pull back towards Ophir. Like with a little bit of confusion of like, wait a minute, I'm missing a step.
Jimena?
I stare at you, Ophir, and I think, yeah, I pull you in for a kiss.
Yeah. I'm going to say he drops his sword because he's There's a lot going on, but he'll drop his sword, and after a moment of like, oh, we're doing this, just wrap his arms around and return the kiss. Once they part, just give her face a little pat and smile.
And I think I look at the others, and I think it's the first time you see Jimena blush. Like, oh yeah, I did that publicly. um, I think this is the way to go. Thank you, everyone. Gracias. I don't think I would have remembered if I didn't have you all at my side. I appreciate you believing in me, looking at Ren, and supporting me, looking at Quest and Antonia, and trusting me, looking at Ophir. No regrets this time. And then looking at all of them, I do like the backwards walk towards what I think is where I'm supposed to go.
You would.
But
5 pairs of hands reach out from the space to pull all of you in.
Oh, okay.
Hey now.
I can't be mad. We interrupted his moment. He gets to interrupt our moment.
Ren. You're back home. Your partner is there with you, taking care of the kid. You okay? You look like you fell asleep in the middle of the day.
But that said I couldn't go back. Or only once I have resolved.
What are you talking about, Ren? You fell asleep in the middle of the day. We were just in the middle of a conversation.
If I ask you what it was about, that
I know you have a lot on your mind.
Ren gets up from their couch, which is, I'm going to imagine, like this sort of kitschy cloth couch with a lot of mismatched throw pillows on them. Gets up and goes to a side table where there's going to be a lot of knickknacks and printed ribbons that all say like the various festivals which Ren has performed at and gotten accolades for. And takes up one of these items. It's this noisemaker that accompanies dancers. And goes over, picks up like the oldest, simplest one and gives it to their partner, Kata. And just like pushes it into them.
Oh, okay. It starts using the noisemaker. Before we get into that, before you start parking really hard quickly, you were telling me about the other partners you had? I'm okay with that. It's really fine. I'm good with you just being with whomever you want. I'll take care of the kids. I mean, I know it's really uncomfortable for everyone else in the community, and honestly, a bit me, but it's fine. I'll be okay with it. I'll figure out a way to be okay with it.
But that's not what we agreed, and I broke that.
Isn't this more enjoyable, though? At least for you? Oh, fear. That's the scene you're being left on, Ren. Ophir, you're out on the streets. You're walking with Adrian. I'm sorry. I lost track of sort of the conversation. Do you remember where we were going to get lunch?
I. What? No, hold on. This isn't. This isn't right.
Did you
There's,
not want to go for Chinese today? Did you want to go for like something else? Did you want euros or gyros or something else? There's a Nepalese place over there. If you're more interested in that today.
no, that's not. Where did the others go?
It's just been you. We were talking about your next art gallery opening.
Mine?
Oh, I think it's happening if we've finally settled the details. The person who owns the place is very spotty with things, but I've been talking with him and it looks as though I was able to secure you a spot in about 2 weeks. Your own original paintings.
Oh. Oh. He kind of fidgets with his hair for a bit, completely lost track of what was going on, and just immersed in this thought of his own gallery with this nice person. And
I'm sorry if I startled you or what have you. Please let me know if I'm being too much right now. I will tone it down for you.
looks up at him with big eyes of like, what is this? And then looks down at his hands, shaking his head. No, that's you're okay. And I think as he's looking down, he probably can he see his death marks? Okay.
You don't see them, but you do hear Adrian's voice speak to you, and you say, "Is there something wrong, my little street flower?"
Oh, don't call me
And
that.
passing over from you to Quest. Quest, it's cold. It's real cold out here. But you're back up on a mountain. Hey, Quest, do you dilly-dallying? Come on. We're almost to the top already.
I think Quest's immediate instinct is to take a look at Cypress because she knows now. She knows what condition he was in by the time they got to the top. I would like to roll to understand what's happening.
You may do so. I also love while DK is doing this, I'm going to note my appreciation for DK's comment in chat. I'm going to tiny pinch the shit out of Tess because it's hilarious.
7 successes.
You had 7? Okay.
You gave us XP. I had 11 die to roll.
So I want you to know that the difficulty for that was 5. So
I understand so hard you're metagaming at this point.
I can see the threads of the universe now.
You look up and you see that there is a there's a table of individuals looking at a screen somehow, and they're all talking about you in this strange way, like you're some character in a story. It's like,
Well,
what
how about
is
that?
going on? But you do see it's Cypress, but Cypress's face is no longer smiling. It's like something the matter.
We had an agreement. You agreed not to wear his face anymore.
Did we know? And
Yes.
transitions over to Antonia.
Oh. Oh no.
You think I said 5 pairs of hands, motherfuckers? That means every single one of you.
I was so caught up in Quest being cool that I forgot I was playing the game. Good.
There is an open sea before you. There is a bright,
God.
sunny day out in the clouds. And no clouds, no nothing. There's a town. There's exceptionally attractive people just walking the streets and just happening to be nearby. Your clothes are in a pretty decent state. There's no lighthouse. There's no isolation. This place feels very open. Even though there's so many different people, the whole place feels free.
I look around for the captain. Seems thematically correct, so I'm just like,
No
I don't
captain.
see anybody. Does anybody look familiar? Do like
You look around, you do see that there is a few people who look relatively familiar to you. There is a couple. Hello there, Vancouver by night. Absolute pleasure to have you here in the game watching us. There is a couple who both are giving you goo goo eyes a little bit. They're both very fond of you already.
I don't like that. I don't like that. Just okay, this is like a weird question, but it's like, do they look like I'm trying. It's like, do they look like people? Like, do they look like people? Like, or do they look like, the kind of thing that it's like, if you look at them, you can't really focus on their face, or do they look like, I don't want to say procedurally generated, but it's like, when you're like in The Sims and then just everybody kind of
You look down the street and you see someone is stuck in a walking animation
yeah, like that
going
kind
into
of
a wall.
It's like, do they look like individuals?
They do.
Oh god.
They do. There is a redhead with deep brown skin wearing a very similar outfit to you, and then you see a man who's a little bit taller than her, deep, little bit more reddish. Looks like someone who's probably been more worked out in the fields to kind of tan skin. More blondish kind of hair, but the blonde looks kind of more like it's been dyed that way. You can see from the roots there's probably more like black or brown kind of hair. But they are whatever Antonia most would be interested in a partner, should she be interested in one. Both of them.
Just like all of them, everybody.
No. Just the two specifically.
Just the two of them.
The two who are giving you the googly eye, the like, they're giving the look of like, yes, thank you, Mirage, for modeling said look very well.
It's really unsettling that it's like both of them. It's really unsettling that it's like both of them. She doesn't like that at all, but she's not sure. Because the others were here before and now they're not. And it's coming off. Well, she wouldn't know this, it's coming off a little step forward and she doesn't like it. Oh. Yeah. She's not really sure what it is. She guess she'll just sort of stand there and keep her distance from everybody. She doesn't like them. They're like too friendly.
I've caused unrest in a player by making too friendly of people. This is my favorite thing about me being a GM with everyone who hears about my games is that I do something nice and everyone's like, what the fuck are you about to do to us?
Nah, she doesn't.
What are you doing?
It's the context. We were just doing weird stuff and now everybody's so nice.
As far as you can tell, nothing inherently seems off, and yet you have your freedom.
Just gonna slowly pick a direction and walk in that direction. Just gonna stay away from anybody who seems too friendly.
You're doing that, Jimena. You awake under bed sheets and blankets. Oh, morning, hermosa.
I turn towards the voice.
It is your beloved.
Morning, mi tesoro. Have you forgiven me then?
What do I have to forgive? Listen, I know the person who I partnered with. I know what kind of person you are. And I know you'd never want to give up that kind of life. And it was cruel and terrible of me to do that.
But
To
I
ask
shouldn't
you
have
to.
lied to you. You're allowed to ask for things, to want things.
Maybe I asked too much from you.
I I don't think that's possible. I just was too selfish. I lied to you. I, I betrayed your trust, and I should have never have done that.
Lies in our profession are pretty common, though. And I'll get over it. You won't have to worry about me being mad at you, I promise. I promise you, you don't need to feel guilty about this anymore.
Because you've forgiven me.
If that makes it easier for you.
No, I don't want you to say it. I want you to mean it. And if
Isn't
you
it
don't
deep?
mean it, then I understand that, and I just need to know that. Not everyone deserves to be forgiven. I understand that, but I need to know the truth from you.
Do you not believe me when I tell you what I feel? Do you not think I mean what I say?
Usually you'd be a little bit more angry about it. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I fell for you. You were always contradicting me.
Well, maybe I'm tired of doing that. Maybe I just want to give in a little bit. What is going through Jimena's mind right now?
It's them remembering the other versions of Ophelia, the one that was like angry and everything. And not sure why they felt that was more real, like that was more like Ophelia than this Ophelia. And is now one briefly wondering, have I spent too much time around a fear? like uh,
Okay.
and this is too perfect. Like I was willing to Ren had said. Like I was willing to need to earn their forgiveness. It shouldn't just be gifted to me.
Ren. Ophir. Antonia. What is going through all of your heads as you're in these moments?
For Ophir, his wrist, where that one death mark of the drowned body was, he's thinking that his wrist hurts, like there should be a bruise there as he rubs against, like his thumb against it. And hearing him being called street flower, it just, he feels that bruise even more, even though he doesn't see one. And he just starts to feel like there's something wrong with this. He was definitely falling into this false sense of security, but this is just pulling him out of it.
Ren is just sort of really confused. I hurt you. The thing that brought us together, I warped it and I let it take us apart. And I didn't see it, but you were hurting. I ignored it and you were hurting. You deserve to have that pain, and I deserve to feel it. This is not... I have to accept it to understand and hopefully earn your forgiveness. We both have to feel it. Why aren't you feeling it?
Antonia.
Oh my goodness. She's thinking about like she it doesn't feel like there's like any intention here. Like she doesn't like it's like it feels kind of like sure everything's like kind of like unrestricted, but it's like a sort of like non-directional sort of like freedom sort of thing. And that doesn't feel right because the entire thing was about like choosing to go in a direction. And this is just doesn't feel it's feels too open in a way that doesn't really feel like, you know?
I gave you a sandbox and there's no tangible
Yeah.
things to actually
Yeah,
move
that's
towards. And
yeah,
I
that's
didn't give you the
exactly it.
directional arrow to point towards a quest marker to
Exactly,
solve the
exactly.
quest.
Exactly.
It's not
quest is right
her
there.
specific choice and freedom.
Exactly. It's like
It's
the
just
wrong
someone's
kind of yeah. It's like the
No
wrong kind of
environmental storytelling skeletons to point you in the wrong direction.
yeah. It feels too I mean, yeah, that's basically it. It's like there's no direction. And it feels weird. She
yeah.
doesn't like it.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
Wrong kind of freedom. Wrong kind of unrestricted.
I would like the four of you who have not rolled so far to decide tell me what you feel for your character best represents them resisting whatever this is, whatever they've clued in just doesn't feel right about this. Tell me what you roll, and I'll set challenge according to that.
Okay. If I may,
Go ahead.
I think for Ophir, as he's trying to figure out why things feel wrong, he's going to reach up to play with his favorite earring that somebody gifted him, and he's going to feel that it's not there, and probably feel that it's maybe a little bloody because he pulled it out.
Multiple times.
And after that, he's thinking about that, and then there's something else. He puts his hand to his lips as he remembers kissing somebody, but it wasn't Adrian. Adrian?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And I think he's going to use mind reason, which he is very bad at, but he's going to try. And can I say that I'm using my approach because he tried to reach for it, even though it wasn't there?
I'm going to say yes. With using your approach, you get +1 die to this check.
Thank you. Oh, folks, it's bad.
Uh-oh.
That is 1 success.
Okay. Ren. Or anyone else, if you have a thought already. May I ask a question? Do you have any in your pool for this that you're rolling from that you can spend? This was also relevant to Fear's roll, but if you had enough, if you had any to spend from there as well, Mirage. And if so. Okay.
I don't
Ren.
think spending mine's going to be enough.
If you do that, Ren. Oh.
Excuse me, I was talking this whole time and I was muted. Excuse me.
Oh no, I've been
We
hearing
heard
you
you.
this whole time.
Yeah, I
It
could
must have
hear
been
you.
OBS that muted you. Or
Interesting. Excuse me.
yeah, because
Okay,
when you're the host, that happens.
but you heard me. Never mind. I took a vitality from from my health pool because I've been walking barefoot this whole time, so that should hurt.
Yes.
To flavor that.
Ren. You see your partner turn to stop, seemingly having a smile on their face, and Kata just looks at you. No happiness, no smiling, just says, I still love you, but I don't know if I can look over this. And if that makes me a bad partner for this, I'm sorry, but I don't think I wanted you to be here for me, and you weren't. I don't know if I can forgive you right now. Maybe with time.
Ren just kind of, without breaking eye contact, like gets down on their knees. I don't deserve it. I hope in the future I will.
Still miss you. Still miss you every day.
Remember the first festival I went to? And I had told you, as we were on a date, in the stand watching the dancers, how proud I felt, how much joy it brought me to see these performers, the elation, my heartbeat matched the drums, and I saw your eyes shining 10 times more than mine. As we applauded, we shouted, we cheered. And that swelling of pride and happiness was all I wanted for us. And I thought, I can give it to you. But that means I had to leave you in the stands, and that was wrong. I wanted to share that with you, and I forgot that. I was wrong for forgetting that. I was wrong for ignoring that. I was wrong for making the choice to do that. I was wrong.
See your partner crying, and it's like you hear, it sounds almost like bits of ice cracking all around you as the world that you have known in this moment splits apart, and you see a growling and frustrated wolven form right in front of you. Yeah, punch to the face, punch, boop him right in the snoot with the fist. Quest. I am going to get to the other two folks who have rolled, I promise. Quest, you're not fooled by any of this. You've interacted with death the most of everybody. And that roll was the last grasp of death, attempting to be like, you could stay here. You could be comfortable. So what if it's a lie? You don't have to go back. You don't have to deal with any of it. You get to even keep reliving more moments. They're even more perfect than the one that you had.
You are pathetic. Did you, for a minute, think that I would forget watching the most important person in the world to me die slowly? I don't know if it's how much power you have or how long you've been around, but you've forgotten the importance of the details. And I remember every detail of that man. With your permission, storyteller, I would like to activate, well, it's already activated, but I would like to use my my potion bottle death mark, which means I am desired. And I would like to just look straight into the eyes of the thing that is not Cypress and say, you didn't win. You never won. You did not choose my death for me. I did. And every time you wear his face, you remind me of that. And you remind me that I made the right choice. And I would like to unclip whatever carabiner is holding me on this mountain and drop.
Mic drop, quest drop.
You fall back, and there is a yell fury that comes out of Cypress's mouth that then the form shifts back to death. But you hear as almost like a whisper, like in your ear. I might not have gotten you, but I think I've got one of your friends. And Antonia, what do you roll to try and deal with this moment?
I want to try and look into the faces of the people I'm walking past and see if I can find anything that's not just like super helpful to me, or it's like anything that's trying to be like, these are like really strong words, but it's like anything that's not like fawning or anything that's like, like that kind of thing. I'm looking for like any resistance, because anything that's just trying to support whatever I want to do in life is not really allowing me to make any choices. You know what I mean? It's like anything that I'd be fighting against in here. Or is this just like uncritical blind support of just me as a person in the world who's so great,
Yep.
like that kind of thing.
Unrelenting support. Yep.
Yeah.
Roll for that. I will tell you what the challenge is afterwards.
Would my trick of I control hearts trick, would that be relevant here?
I'm gonna say that does.
Yes.
That is something that would let you do that. So yeah, trick, it would lower the challenge, which I'm gonna say, just to put it on record, it was a 4.
Okay.
So it is a 3 now.
Okay. Watch me roll so bad. Okay. So this
I pray to God you get like 6 6s in a row.
That's just not gonna happen.
But you have to. You pre-rolled them.
Understand. Sometimes it doesn't work. So soul understand. So that's 8. Let me see if I got anything else there, because it's high stakes. I need to look at this. I'm pretty sure it does not apply when I question something more powerful than myself, because I wouldn't know that.
You wouldn't. I would say in this case you wouldn't know if this is.
I wouldn't know that.
These are people who looks very similar to you.
Does this count as a large group of people? I actually don't know how many people.
Yes. Okay. You are in what looks like a seaport town where you're literally hearing calls by a captain of a ship nearby saying, "Last ship heading out for the day."
Okay. So that's reduce the challenge you face by 1 when in a large group of people. And then the rest of these don't apply.
You need to roll 2.
I need to roll 2. I'm often mistaken for someone else. Does not apply. Okay.
We gotta roll.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm rolling and understand. What is it again? 4?
4 and above.
1, 2. That's 6. So I actually didn't need to send any of that.
See, what did I say?
6.
What did I say?
It's all 4s.
They weren't all 6s. Oh no! It's just an equally statistically unlikely result to occur.
And then the others are 1s. It's all 4s and 1s.
How do you do this?
How?
I only roll well at high stakes rolls. I roll garbage on stupid ones.
I love it.
Lordy.
Okay, so I'm looking to see. It's just
you see. There is someone who, I don't know necessarily if Antonia like had a friend, like occasionally like said being let them have guests in order to just give the illusion you're gonna have company, don't worry, you'll have fun sometimes. But one of them was a guest you had at one point and looks at you and says, just like very quietly, just shakes their head, says, "No."
Okay. She's not sure if whatever is instructing this is watching, so she'll look. She won't nod, but she'll look. Okay, so we need to get away out of here. Okay. Keep going. But okay, she's not sure how to get out of here at this point. But the no is like, okay,
But does she keep
shouldn't be here. Yeah, she keeps walking. But she will like look that person very directly in the eye, but she's not sure if like, she's used to powers watching over her. She's not sure if the thing that has created this is like paying attention. So she's the person who said no. Look them directly in the eye, try to
You
acknowledge it without being obvious.
you acknowledge the person and you keep
Mhm.
walking forward, and
Yeah.
you keep walking, and the streets end, and it's almost like you walk off a pier, but you're still floating in the air,
Keep walking.
walking across water
Gotta
out
get
to
to
a freedom that is yours. And when you look back, there is a monstrous lupine
Oh my
face
god.
that has been extending out to try and chomp down on you.
Not to
But
scale.
but as it tries to do so, it misses and it sinks into the water and begins just plummeting down to the depths.
Speaking of water, don't forget to hydrate, friends.
Yes, everyone, we got hydrate. So hydrate or die straight.
The horror.
The horror. The worst. And as you do that, you walk back into the entrance, into the space that you and your allies were in before. And yes, that's actually a very apt comparison. Yeah, it's basically the wolf spirit from Prince of Moon. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Fucking terrifying. Jimena,
Alright.
what do you choose to roll in order to deal with this situation?
Ooh. I feel like I think it's still it would be perception. It'd be like percepting whether or not this is my real true love and whether this is where I'm what was promised to me, which was the chance to, you know, see her again. Um
You're
so
making
that
sure this is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful wife.
yeah. 3, 4, 5.
Those of you who understand that reference, I love all of you. Roll for that.
I'm also seeing if I have anything else to help with it. Um No, that will be for after the roll if I do this right.
Yeah, you're correct.
Huh?
Bless you. No, I'm just looking at chat and giving them, yes, you're correct. Well done.
Yeah. All right.
Roll
What
for
is
this.
my goal here?
And I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah.
Sometimes
So
I'll tell you ahead of
are.
time. Other times I'll tell you before.
Okay. I got 3 successes. That was enough?
Barely. Barely.
I got 3 4s and 2 2s again. I'm like,
Jimena, your partner is getting up and like you're going through like a whole day while all of this is happening. Like it's cozy, it's fine. They've like set up like another map like on the table, brought you a plate of food, like is being as wonderful as she was before.
mm.
There's a moment where you stop and it's like, you didn't trust me enough to tell me, did you?
It wasn't that I didn't trust you. That I didn't trust myself enough that if you knew and asked me not to, that I'd still go with it.
I told you before, I know who I partnered with. I definitely would have fucking given you hell if you remotely even tried to drag me along with this had I known.
I wish I had taken that option. Or at least the chance to have given myself one more chance to see if I could have just said no to the map and said yes to you instead.
Maybe in another lifetime. And there's, for the first time in all of this, you see a genuine smile. It's tense, it's uneasy, but it's genuine.
I promise. I'll be better next time.
For 4 of you, reality shifts back, and you see the lupine form, Death, there, bruise across the face, hurting and in pain, just muttering to himself. Why? You don't have to remember any of this. You don't have to deal with any of the pain. It would have just taken you. You could have checked out of here already. You would have been fine. What is wrong with all of you?
Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots.
My pain belongs to me. I decide what I do with it, and I like it just fine, thank you.
What's the point of life if we're forgotten?
And the pain I caused affected others. And I need my pain to be able to release them from it.
I don't have a witty line. It's just, you can't make those choices for me.
It's like,
Antonio
fuck
just
you, I
has
do what I
fierce
want.
look. Yeah.
I just imagine it's the black meme glasses just dropped out of nowhere for Antonio specifically.
The light flash.
Like, well, at least I got one of you.
There is no fear. That's me, Gina.
Looking
Have
around,
your little
looking
hotel.
around.
Have your little space. Let John Paul do what he wants. I have what I wanted. And you see there in his hands there's, I'm gonna make it as unsettlingly kitschy and hokey as I can. It's a snow globe. And inside you see Ophir, like an image of Ophir with Adrian. Ophir, you have 2 points of stagnation.
Can I use my curiosity, the fluffy white kitten who mildly enjoys my presence, to steal it?
The gravitas of the moment.
Did I use that? I want to say yes solely for the sheer audacity of your fucking statement, but no. Here's what I'm going to offer to all of you. Ophir is trapped within that space. Ophir, your stagnation for you just means getting lost in this new dream. It maybe sounds too good to be true, but maybe you lucked out for once. Maybe you just got lucky.
Yeah, I
For
think
the rest
that
of you,
nagging in the back of his head has just been the captain. He wants to go to the captain, his favorite bar.
of course it would be a goddamn bar. I am going to offer to the table the last roll of this series, because we're getting near the end and I want to give folks a chance for snapshot and then outros for their epilogues. But this is the last roll. Someone needs to make a check, difficulty 5, to pull Ophir out of this place.
Could I do something to help a person making that check?
If you're willing to spend from your pools, people, this would be
I
the
has
time.
a death mark where I would
Okay,
like
you
to
has
offer
death mark?
death. If you give me Ophir, I will go with you. Take me instead.
Oh.
My
No!
death mark says if I spend the point of will, the NPC you're lying to believes you without a check. I am lying.
Everybody the same death mark, friend. It's ridiculous.
God.
I was also
God.
thinking of doing something similar.
Thank
Damn.
God.
I love this
So
table
I am like
so
actively
much.
like,
It's like one of you motherfuckers actually grab it.
I will say also for anybody available, Ophir's sword is still on the floor.
So, someone make this check. I don't care what it is. Make it represent what your character would do in this situation to save a friend.
okay.
Or
Obviously,
to just
Quest is rolling.
fucking brutal out
I will give
death.
my 2 ferocities, to help Quest.
For the one
Just in
success.
case.
That's one
Yeah.
success.
And I'm spending
Okay,
a
there you
will to make the death believe me and hopefully make this easier.
Can I also how much like I spend from ferocity? Yes.
You spend from your pools
Which one?
related.
My pools.
Yes, your pools. So if you're going to spend 2, it will give Quest an automatic success. That will put them at 2 of the 5 that they need.
Okay.
Can I spend
but
one,
oh no, wait,
or
but
is it?
Ida is doing. I'm gonna say for the sake of narrative flow, no. But I will say that Ida Ren doing that has distracted Beth. It is a challenge 4. So, Quest, you need 2 more successes to
Okay.
get your friend out.
Because I have a lot.
I'm aware all of you have a lot. Fucking spend them.
And I'm gonna spend
Also-
3 of my own points of will. Because I don't have enough D4s. Or D6s. Sorry,
I was about to say,
Like, what are you
D4s.
rolling on
No,
all this
I'm
time?
nervous.
What is this new system you're introducing in this game we're playing? I'm
No,
not
Quest
familiar
was
with
just
it.
playing on like extra hard mode.
12 dice.
What is this, Shadowrun?
I would like to burn 3 points of will, and I think truly Quest just dives for it. Not with the intention of keeping it safe. I think Quest dives for it and yells, Ophir, you didn't make it this far to only make it this far, and she wants to smash it.
Well, it's very unlikely you will fail this, but it is within the realm of possibility. However unlikely.
We're gonna have a pocket Ophir?
9 successes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You smash it, Ophir. You hear the sound of waves, of ocean waves going by behind you. And you know this place isn't real. However wonderful it is, it's not real. You're pulled back. And right next to you is the captain. The rest of you, Sophia comes back. You watch as Death just... There's no longer any language. It's just like a woven creature just like trying to lash out. But the moment that Ophir fully returns, it's like a creature reaching out and then gone.
Are you okay? Loaded question, I know.
I just pull a fear, like, into, like, a bear hug, and just, like, mutter, don't you ever do that again. Idiota.
Just trying to hug back. And it's just like, I'm sorry. I offered my own gallery. And just kind of like giggles, starts crying. And is like, I'm glad you're all here.
Death is removed from the hotel, but not their power. The hotel slowly but surely begins to rebuild. However, there is, in nods to the different things that y'all have told me, if it's okay, I'm just going to sort of like give a passing reference to each of the epilogues that each of you have mentioned to me, just for the sake of time and to make sure we're staying relatively on time, on track. Ophir, when you choose to move on, at peace with everything that you've dealt with and the tragic life that you've lived, you return to the world for another chance. The deck is not stacked against you as heavily this time. It's not the greatest of lives, but there is happiness. There is some art shows you were able to do. Again, not the most lucrative of ventures and such, but you have enough to stay stable. And you appear to have caught the eye on one occasion of a very tall, silver-haired fellow who, here's my silly way of putting it. It's a very emotional, very comforting thing, but my silly way of putting it is, Ophir gets a sugar daddy. Specifically for his art.
God. Thank fucking God. He deserves this.
Yes, he does. Antonia, well, actually, I'm going to go with Quest. This Quest. You don't move on, because you died with the happiness knowing you protected the person you love, but the hotel needs repairs. The hotel needs another person to chart out what else it needs, and most of all, it needs someone who's been through the experience of going through the portraits to guide them along the way. So you, in a way, you take over some of what Jean-Paul did, because that man is overworked. He's basically a dude working in a non-profit where they're like, here's 15 responsibilities, but I'm doing like 40 jobs, actually. You take over
there.
and they're...
To IRL.
Yeah, I know. You and I just both stare into the abyss for a couple seconds after I say that. Antonia, whether you come back, whether you move on, whatever path you choose to take, you have the knowledge that whatever follows from it, it is always your path. There is no restrictions. There is no evil boogeyman waiting for you. There is only your decisions, your rebelliousness, your acquiescence to things, but most importantly, your freedom as you define it. Jimena, the afterlife awaits, the beyond awaits. And there is a period of time where you worry whether this is all actually worked out in your favor. But eventually, amidst the seas that follow in your version of the afterlife, real, perfect, and true, your beloved awaits you. Though, should you wish for another companion to join you at times, even in a dream or two, that is acceptable. And Ren, I'm curious, did you want to go back?
Ren will go to the beyond. Ren will go to the beyond. And the beyond is not a place where one can dance with unlimited stamina. The beyond is mostly a fairly comfortable single-seater with a kind of old analog radio. And Ren is not dancing anymore. Ren is reminiscing the original feelings they had about the pride and the beauty and the joy that the music and the dance and the culture represented. That they're not at the center of it. They're part of the bigger storm. And they're waiting for their partner and the people they hurt to come, and he's ready to get on their knees the second they see them, but they're going to be waiting.
Hotel continues, different than what it was. Perhaps one last detail, staying the same. An old radio, playing music. And one last song. Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto. Me dio dos luceros que cuando los abro, perfecto distingo lo negro del blanco. En el alto cielo su fondo estrellado. En las multitudes, las personas que yo amo. Thank you to life, which has given me so much. The two stars from which light and darkness are distinguished, and the starry background and skies above, the people who I love.
Mercedes Sosa?
Yep. And for that, everyone, that is the end of our story here of Hotel Nexus and Afterlife Wandering Souls actual play. So, very quickly, we're going to do the outros while I very quickly go. Reminder to myself that there is a very important announcement that I have to note, because it is a sponsored one by our own resident amazing sponsorship group, Free League. Free League has been giving us business when it comes to supporting so many of our streams, especially in the amazing one that's coming in on Thursday. It is Alien Destroyer of Worlds. Our own fantastic Aida was part of the first series that we had of an Alien RPG game that was happening here. And now the second series, we're having a whole new cast, some amazing people. They're apparently already getting their gifts and everything happening, where someone is apparently going like this and shooting random people, and just hilarity and monster villainy that only Game Mother Fiona can do. Colonial Marines vibes. It's a gauntlet of hell, one after the other. Please tune into it. There's so much going on. We have already casted for some amazing shows: Monster Hearts, Secret Life of the Tuffets, and also we are having selections for Zine 5 Harvest that is coming out real soon and will be announced. And also, folks, I believe, I'm trying to remember, is Roll for Luck happening this evening, or are we taking okay, just double checking. I was pretty certain it was happening tonight. Speaking of which, Roll for Luck, 8 p.m. EST. Join our long-running anchor show for this sapphic homebrew world of Amel Garth, with GRTW founder Ryu as the dungeon mistress. You know her, you love her. Happily, you would throw chairs at terrible people for her, as she much assuredly deserves, because she is amazing. Let everyone do their whole little spiel. I'm just going to call on folks. I'm going to start with myself real quick, and then we'll do real one thing you're in, and goodbye to everyone. Hello there, folks. My name is Angela Lemos Mogrovejo. I use she, her pronouns, and I have been your GM for this amazing emotional series. Thank you to everyone who's turned in. I am the creative director for Girls Write These Worlds, and I am going to be running a little bit of monster romance, scary monsters, and nice sprites over on Valdrian's channel for Extra Life very soon in September. You'll get to see me as a draconic succubus who's mommy. Enjoy that, all of you.
Are. Yeah, I was gonna say that's just the regular uncle that over there.
Monster fuckers, all of you. Anyways, carry on. Mirage, you're up first.
Great, thanks. Hi, I'm the one who's been sobbing like nonstop this entire session. I'm Ultimirage. You can find me pretty much everywhere at Ultimirage. I'm an artist. My commissions are open. Help fund my partner moving out here. I also run games on Start Playing. I still have a few spots left open in a game that actually starts tomorrow. So take a look at that. Yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in. This has been a delight, an emotional delight, but I'm so fine.
Our own fantastic producer, Aida. Go.
That's me. Hi. Props to this table and to Ankala for a wild stories that I got the chokies for, but held it in because it's not waterproof. I'm cheap. You can find me not so much on the Bird app, but on the Blue Sky app, same credentials. Find me mostly at Horde of Tales. We're in a state of transitioning. We're going to make some big announcements. Things are ending, things are starting. Charity opportunities are going to be coming up soon. Casting calls will be coming out soon. And we're a community that focuses on diverse games and diverse casts, but from an primarily an EU UK perspective. Because guess what? There's queer people in the EU UK. There's POS people in the EU UK. Neurodiverse people in the EU UK. It's not just chip cheery you colonist white people. Thank you.
Next up, one of easily one of my favorite players I've ever interacted with for sheer gall. Go Gina.
Hi, I'm Gina. That is she, her. You can find me currently nowhere, but hopefully it will be eventually somewhere else, because send me the applications if you want me somewhere, I guess. You can find me at _Ginathan on Twitter. The underscore is important. Hopefully I will be somewhere else because I am applying to things. Let me know if you want me to apply to a thing. That's what I got.
The Lunar Delight, the Lunar Star, the amazing scene partner that is Diana Moon. Go.
I am Diana Moon. I use she, her. You can find me on Blue Sky app at Diana Moon. Also, I am in something that's coming up, but I don't remember when that's starting, in a month or so. But on Sundays at Twitch.tv is the Reclaimers, where we're doing Eclipse World OG PBTA. And I totally blanked out. Oh.
Come again, Diana? You're coming out. That last sentence again.
Okay, yeah, I've been having audio issues. I actually don't remember what you guys heard because my mind is going woo because I haven't eaten today. But yes, you can find me on Diana Moon most places. And just one last thing about Jimena is that when they're dancing, the song that's playing is Vicente Fernandez's Las Mañanitas. For the extra oomph. So I love you all and I want to play with you all again.
And last but certainly not least, the amazing DK. Go!
Hi, hello, that is still me, and for the last 8 sessions I have been Quest Nightingale, who I love with all my heart. When I'm not here doing that, I'm still doing sad things, like over on my channel on August 25th from 4 to 8 p.m. We will be playing through a historical reenactment of Volcano Day in Pompeii. As a birthday gift to me, my friends are going to let me try and kill them with a volcano. So it's going to be real sad, there's going to be a lot of crying, but also some happy times, and definitely a lot of fire. Thanks for watching.
I would be more concerned and worried, but then I remember it's DK, and that's fine. It's about
for this game, you should double the amount of concern you have. The last game that we did was the Donner Party, and I got him. Emotionally, I got him.
Learning so much about DK in these last few minutes.
I've learned so much about DK, and all of it has caused me to scoop. Concern. I am a concern. But on that note, thank you everybody. And as a reminder, please give support to Roll for Luck later this evening. Give support to all of the other shows that are past, present, and in the future when we have more shows here on the channel. And I may be running a couple of other things in the future that I'll be excited to have more tables like this where, come on, folks. I've said it multiple times before. I'm going to keep saying it. Support diverse content. Support content that tells stories that are uncomfortable but are true to a lot of the ways that we've experienced so many different things, whether it be death, grief, lust, abuse, romance, awkwardness, teenage vibes, supernatural, monster appreciation, I'm not going to use the other term, and other themes that just, sometimes make us cry, sometimes make us die of laughter, sometimes make us cringe just a little bit. And best of all, make us do probably all of those in sequence in the same session. Because honestly, do you just want white stories all the time? I don't even think white people want white stories all the time. I've talked to some of them. They don't. But thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in for this. And we don't really have like a raid target for this, so I think it's probably just best that we just call it for now. So thank you, everybody. Take care, and many blessings to all of you. It's been a privilege. Bye.